Hi everyone, welcome to Strangetown. In this series, I will tell you about Strangetown families, about their past, about their wants and fears, about their darkest secrets and their happiest moments. Today we will meet the Specter family. It seems like Olive Specter has always been in love with death. When she was only 15, she witnessed a tragic accident. A pizza delivery woman died of starvation. It was the first time Olive Muenda saw death itself. Yes, she was watching the Grim Reaper taking that poor soul. Olive was mesmerized, yet terrified. She remembered the feeling she got next to him. That's why she tried to avoid places where she got similar sensations. Olive wasn't interested in career. She wanted to meet her soulmate. Unfortunately, because of her peculiarities, she met her first love only when she was 27. Earl E. Demise was a shy, nice guy. He fell in love with Olive and even proposed to her. But Miss Muenda decided to reveal her dark secret before the wedding day. Olive told her fiancé that she could smell death. Earl E. Demise was shocked. He wanted normal life. His wife couldn't be a creepy freak. That's why he left Olive at the altar. Olive was furious. She couldn't forgive that treason. She invited her ex-lover to say goodbye, although it wasn't her real intention. She asked him to fix her TV. While Earl was doing it, Olive poured him with water. He was electrocuted. And then she saw her true love, the Grim Reaper. She was afraid to speak to him, but didn't want him to leave. Quite soon, Earl's brother, Tim Lee Demise, understood that his brother wasn't just missing. He came to Olive's place to ask her some questions. The young lady was frightened to be arrested, so she got another Mr. Demise in her deathly trap. That time Olive was waiting for the Grim Reaper. She dared to speak to him. They had a small talk and the Reaper disappeared. Olive became obsessed with death. She couldn't wait for an accident which would attract her beloved. That's why she murdered a repairman. She simply locked him in one of the rooms and waited for the Reaper to come. That time he gently touched Olive and asked her to never again invite him that way. He promised to visit her from time to time. She only has to follow her premonition of death. That was the moment Olive realized that she had done. She was horrified and swore that there would be no more victims of her obsession. From time to time, the Reaper asked Olive on a date. They were enjoying each other's company despite the situation. But then, Olive's younger sister Willow got married. That reminded Miss Muenda that her dark romance would never give her what she wanted. She anticipated the death, and he came to take Olive and Willow's parents. Olive had to grieve, but instead she wanted to end up her strange relationship. She told the Reaper that everything was over, and he promised not to bother her. Quite soon Olive met Rigor Mortis. They got married, and Olive thought that it was the beginning of her normal life. Moreover, Rigor was rich, so he really could make Olive happy. Still, the Reaper took Rigor away. Olive didn't grieve. She was angry at death and was determined to reach her simple happiness. She got married again. Her husband, Euthanasia, moved to Olive's house with his brother Lou. Lou died very soon, giving Olive and the Reaper one more date. Death warned Miss Euthanasia that he can't let her be with anyone. Olive pleaded to let her leave. But the next year the Reaper came again, now to take Hugh. That night both Olive and Death confessed their love and surrendered to that mutual feeling. 9 months after Hugh's death, Olive gave birth to a baby boy, Nemo. For everyone he was Hugh's son. Only Olive knew the truth. Unfortunately, Olive couldn't become a good mother, and social workers took Nemo. For quite a lot of time the Reaper didn't invite Olive. So she decided to try to live a simple life one more time. She married Ichabod Specter, and it seemed that she was truly in love with him and finally truly happy. It was a mistake. The Reaper took Olive's third husband and disappeared. Olive was broken. She had to talk to death, but she was afraid to kill again. She continued her lonely life. At work she met a friend, Chloe Curious. Olive loved listening to Chloe's stories about her boyfriends. Mrs. Specter felt better when she talked to someone who also couldn't settle down. Olive also became a friend with Lila Grant, a usual housewife. Olive pretended to be sympathetic towards Lila's troubles. In reality, the Black Widow enjoyed the fact that a married woman could be even more miserable than she was. One day, Mrs. Specter visited her sister Willow, who had a usual happy life, a loving husband and a daughter, Ophelia. The family had a barbecue. Women were discussing the possibility to find Nemo. Willow and her husband drank too much and went swimming in the pool. Suddenly, they started drowning. Olive could help, but she didn't. The couple died to arrange a date for Olive and the Reaper. That day, he put the blame on Olive for misfortunes of their son. Death couldn't forgive his love. She finally understood that to find redemption, she had to save their boy. The Reaper gave her a hint and disappeared. Olive decided to start with saving another child. She became a caregiver for her niece, Ophelia. The girl moved to Olive's mansion, but she hated her life. Olive managed to meet her son. Now his name is Nervous Subject. He looks desperate and unhappy. She is ashamed to tell him the truth and just became a good friend to him. Nervous often visited Olive, but never revealed the biggest secret. She didn't know how to save their boy. She needed his father's advice. 2 years ago, Lila Grant came to Olive's place. She divorced Buzz and had nowhere to live. Olive let Lila in. But trusting the Black Widow was Lila's worst decision. The same evening, when the young woman was taking a bath, Olive entered and dropped a working hairdryer into water. The Grim Reaper came. They talked about their son. He promised that Olive would finally be happy and they would be together. She only had to save Nemo. Now Olive lives with her niece Ophelia in her dark mansion. Her garden is full of victims of her sick love. Mrs. Specter is very neat and knows how to remove any stain. She is grouchy and hates when neighbors visit her place. Olive will stop at nothing to get what she wants. Sometimes she can be seen excavating her yard. She is afraid that her niece knows too much. That's why she forbids Ophelia to go out and invite friends. Ophelia likes spending time with her boyfriend Joni and their friend Drip. That's why at night she secretly escapes her prison. Ophelia misses her parents a lot, and she is afraid of her aunt. She guesses that Olive has done something terrible, and it's really strange that she has a cemetery instead of a garden. She pretends to be nice and obedient, not to make Auntie angry. Ophelia's hobbies include hypochondria and monitoring the air quality. She worries about the future and the past and the present. Who is buried in Olive Specter's garden? Will the mysterious, aging outcast leave her fortune to her niece Ophelia, or, as rumored, to an unnamed heir? Can Ophelia break free? And what will Olive do next to win the Grim Reaper's love and attention? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you in the next episode. Bye!